This episode is brought to you by Hoob. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Talking Triathlon, a podcast where that guy wearing the official fleece of Talking Triathlon, James Bale, talks to this guy not wearing a fleece, Tim Ford. You guessed it, about triathlon. James Bale, mate, how you going?
I'm a bit toasty, actually, mate, if I'm honest. I have many fleeces. I bought 3 new fleeces over Christmas, so I thought I'd rotate. But I have happened to land on the official fleece of the podcast on this episode, which is what, the second episode of 2026? How many have we done now?
Yeah, number 2.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
number 3.
so-
Number 3. Number 3.
three?
No, number 3.
Okay,
number
no, I'm good, mate. I'm good. It's been a very busy week. I feel like I'm juggling fire this week, but it's nice to take a step out of that to talk a bit of triathlon with you. How are you, mate?
I am also quite well. Started up the training again this week. A few things, actually. I am 3 weeks without alcohol, which I am quite happy. I'm actually very happy about, to be honest. I feel amazing if I'm.
Bravo.
I think I said last week I saw a thing on YouTube or Instagram or something like anxious, that's alcohol. Not sleeping well, that's alcohol. Feeling tired, that's alcohol. So it was just like everything wrong in your life is alcohol. So I wanted to try to get through to the end of February without having a drink. Look, I'm not a big pisshead or anything, but I have on Friday I'll have 1 or 2 drinks after work. But I noticed when I took that time off, I was drinking every day. So I just really wanted to see if I could do. And one of the things I've struggled with probably since the pandemic was like I just didn't have that same. I think always as a but juggling full time work, training 20 hours a week, trying to be a high level amateur, all these things. Like I always had this real sort of internal. Just I did things like I never found things hard. I just was like, oh, well, I need to do this. I'll do it. And I think I'd sort of lost it. But I have noticed since my birthday and trying not to drink and making all these changes, I'm really not struggling to, if I'm like, I need to do this thing, I'm back to that ability just to lock in and do it. So it's going well. Doing Pilates more, which is so hard. Like I did a session last week on Saturday and honestly, listeners and James, hand up, I think it's the hardest workout I've ever done in my life. It was fucked. I was a sweaty mess. I had to, there's a puddle around my reformer. It was not good. But it's so
You'll
it's
get
good.
better. You'll get better.
Yeah, I know.
It'll come. Good work on the no booze thing.
Yeah.
I have a feeling you'll settle into this, mate, and it won't come back. Because I'm now 9 months sans booze, and I'm just done with it. I ain't ever going back. I'm quite happy where I am, not drinking alcohol. It's like you say, the productivity just, I think as you get a bit older, I wasn't a massive pisser either, but I'd have a few drinks at the weekend or whatever. And I think it just takes longer to get out your system, longer to stop fucking with you. And the sharpness, not being tired, being more focused. It's good. And non-alcoholic beer
It's good
is
now.
excellent nowadays.
Yeah.
This one is a tribute to you and your nation. It's called Drop Bear.
You need to be really careful about drop bears, to be honest. I'm surprised they put that on a beer because I saw
Very
a thing.
dangerous, I know.
I saw a thing. I keep talking about things I've seen. This podcast isn't just Tim talking about things he's seen on Instagram. But do you know the Australian comedian Jim Jeffries? Do you know who he is? So he did a thing where he's like, one of the best things about being an Australian is the complete nationwide commitment to the drop bear bit, where it's like, it doesn't matter if you've never met other Australians before. If one person starts telling a foreigner about the drop bears, every other Australian in the vicinity is just locks in and is like, yeah, seriously, you got to be really careful. Like nobody will have like, dude, what are you doing? Don't hassle the tourists. Every single Australian just fully is like, yeah, actually, you really need to watch out. Those bastards are scary, which is always really good. No, you're right. There's really good alcohol-free beer. I've always thought the biggest issue for me would be wine. I like to have a glass of wine with I really love wine, but we had our 16th wedding anniversary last week. We went out to a beautiful dinner. And I didn't have anything to drink, and I still, it's probably one of the best meals I've ever had in my life. I was like, oh, okay, didn't need the booze to actually have a good time. So
it unlocks life for me because it means that I can always drive if I need to, no matter what.
Yep.
Non-alcoholic Guinness is amazing. And I'm never hungover. And also, if you're going to go and do something in the day, like meet up with some friends for a lunch or whatever, it doesn't, the ability to do exercise in the evening doesn't end because you haven't
Yeah.
had a couple of beers or a glass of wine. So you can have your lunch and then you can come back and you can go for your run or you can go for your bike ride or whatever.
I also think I'd linked the relax, like I couldn't switch off until I had a drink. So I had this like association with alcohol and relaxing. And I think I'm actually, but what I was going to say, so I've worn this Whoop for years. Again, not a ad. I love Whoop. I actually really swear by it. Thank you, Lionel Sanders. Although it was actually Charles-Barclay who got me onto it. But my sleep scores have gone, like I used to struggle to get green. Like I'd get one green every 2 weeks. I reckon I'm 6 out of 7 nights green recovery now. One yellow, no red. It's, yeah, anyway. Doesn't matter. If you guys want to hear more of this stuff that isn't about triathlon, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff, my camera just freaked out. Head to patreon.com/talking triathlon where you get the WhatsApp group bonus episodes we've recorded. There's probably close to 30 bonus episodes at this point. So if you join up now.
Does like that. You know the dramatic, is it the dramatic gopher?
Yeah.
It does that kind of zoom in every now and again.
What do they call it? The glam bot. The glam bot zoom on my. I tried to turn. I don't know what's going on with it, but yeah, patreon.com/talking triathlon where you get all that good stuff. And as I've said before, it's mostly to support the podcast. The bonus content is like a benefit, but yeah, like don't join. I mean, you can, but the reason isn't necessarily just to get the bonus contents because you want to be part of the Talking Triathlon.
Yeah, I mean, we probably
ecosystem.
won't do a bonus episode until racing starts proper because there isn't a huge amount to talk about on a bonus episode right now.
And we just released
Unless you want to
3.
hear us talk about alcohol-free life more.
maybe, but yeah, look, that's it. James Bale, it is time to start the episode, mate. Where would you? Because we've got a few things to talk about this week. Where do you want to start?
Let's talk about the results for Challenge Sir Bani.
Challenge Sir Bani Yas.
Which I saw there was a kerfuffle in the Patreon WhatsApp group, so I logged on to try and watch a bit of this race. But more, I wasn't really trying to watch it. I was just going in to see what the
You're hoping for a
kerfuffle was.
Dubai. You're hoping for another Dubai.
Yeah. I knew something was happening, and I was like, "Oh, well, I'm in the middle of my day, but I'll log on to see what the kerfuffle is all about." And yeah, it was poor quality broadcasting that day.
Look, I don't think it was poor quality broadcast. I think the actual quality of the broadcast was good if they showed the race rather than look, I absolutely adore Belinda Granger and I think she's one of the best commentators.
I'm not.
The fact that the fact that Belinda had to try to commentate a race that wasn't being shown for almost 2/3 of it because the cameras just kept showing amateurs leaving the water and leaving transition. It was a bizarre experience. And like you could actually hear the moment they finally clipped they moved the footage back to the guys on the bike. You could actually, Belinda's like, finally, like you could even hear the relief in her voice. Yeah, I did find, again, broadcast corner, we do this most races now, but the run course was really weirdly televised just with a selection of fixed cameras and the layout of the course. I had no idea what was happening, but yeah, not the best start to watching races in 2026. It was unfortunately almost unwatchable. But that doesn't mean the race in action wasn't very good. It looks like a pretty cool place for a race, to be honest.
Yeah, it does. It does. And your selection for the win on the male side came good.
No, second, I think.
Oh, you said Pierre Lecour, did you?
I said Pierre Lecour. I think I was second. I had both places second, I think, yeah.
I thought you said Jonas Schomburg was going to win. Yeah, so anyway, on the men's side, Jonas Schomburg took the win ahead of Pierre Lecour, ahead of Josh Ferris. And on the women's side, it was Katrine Græsbøll Christensen, ahead of Natalie von Korthoven, ahead of Ellie Solhaus, who I thought was going to win.
Yeah. So I actually think both of us did all right with the picks. I'll be honest, the female who won I'm not that familiar with, but is certainly, we talk every year about athletes you're going to sort of keep an eye on. And she's definitely one that, you know, she dominated, to be honest. It was she attacked on the bike and it was game over for the rest of the day. So definitely an athlete to sort of add to my watch list. The men's race, Jonas Schomburg, man, is when I talk about those short course athletes that you expect to step up and dominate, is a perfect example of that. He's doing it. I really think we're going to see a lot from Jonas Schomburg this year, and then into the, for the rest of his long course future. Pierre Lecour, good to see him back racing. And then Josh Ferris. I talked about Josh last week as, again, this thing of always like athletes to watch. Has had a lot of success in like last year with these incredible swim bikes. His run maybe being a slight weakness, but to hold off a number of short course athletes, like you mentioned Emil Holm, for example, one of our patrons who was there. Henry Schumann was in the field. Good, really legitimate athletes. Yeah. For Josh to hold these people off and actually pass some people towards the back end of the run for third place, like, again, as an Australian, gives me a lot of hope that we actually have a real sort of rising star of the sport, because I think this was a very legitimate field, and Josh did really, really well to hang on for third place. But to be honest, the both winners dominated, and I think that domination really sort of came on the bike. They both really attacked the bike, but they're both obviously very strong cyclists. Jonas Schomburg, very strong cyclist. So yeah, I think, we know last year had its issues. This year, definitely an improvement, still like not perfect, but watching the race certainly was enough to get me interested in that event, because I think it just looks so good.
It does look like a cool place to have a race. Absolutely. Emil had a solid day, but then kind of ran out of energy on the run, so he reported. But he didn't take that win that I predicted he'd get.
Yeah, I know. I spoke with Belinda about Henry, because Henry had raced what was that event we talked at Salah, the endurance thing with the kayak in the week before, but apparently had an ankle thing about 2K into the run and pulled out. So, yeah. But in terms of people racing this early in the year, some interesting, like I said, there's a lot to take from it. Fenella Langridge, I think she was 5th or 6th off the top of my mind. Nat Van Coverden, very strong sort of regionally last year, but not as strong when she went internationally. But then second to Georgia Taylor Brown at Bahrain, I think shows, she's definitely going to build on last year this year. I think she's a person we could see shaken up. I'd like to see Nat at a few of the T100 events this year. So that's it. Challenge.
Very strong, solid finish for Ellie, I thought. Ahead of Mel Baroon, who is the current long course triathlon world champion as well.
Is she?
Okay. And middle distance triathlon world champion.
Yeah, okay. Duathlon. You've done a few duathlons.
I've done a few when I was a younger man. I've done one as an older man, and I'm yet to do one properly.
There used to be a local duathlon series like less than a kilometre from my house, and I did that a few times, and it was always a good time. And then I did one a couple of years ago, and it was the coldest morning I've ever experienced in my life. It was so cold, and it was horrific.
20 degrees or something, wasn't it?
Oh, it was honestly probably 1 or 2 degrees. Like, it was.
Oh, really?
Like fucked, man. Like freezing cold. And I went so hard in the first 5K. Like, I think I was like under 18 minutes or something. Like, just went flat out and absolutely suffered all day for that. And I've never done one since. So duathlon's not a good time. But Sir Bani Yas looked like a good time, especially the Middle East at the moment has. I guess this is what you see, right? There is an increasing number of events now in the Middle East. You've got multiple races in Qatar. You've got multiple races in Saudi Arabia. You've got a race in Bahrain, multiple races in Dubai, a race in Dubai. Like, there's more and more, and as Oman has races as well. Oman's going to have the World Championships. As more events come to the region, the competition increases. They have to start to do something, because I don't see it's not a location I expect thousands of people are going to fly in from the rest of the world. You get some people from Europe and stuff, but I guess it means that you need to have these, like, when it is quite a small geographic location with a finite audience, you have to do something to make people come and do your event. And that's a good thing for the athlete, because it means you're going to have a high quality experience in a great location. And if you look at, no offense, but if I was looking at the Qatar T100 event or the Dubai T100 event or this, I know which one I would be picking, just because I think the race looked a lot more interesting than riding through quiet parts of the city. So
yeah, totally. I agree with you. It does look interesting. It was a dynamic race environment. Certainly looks like it had more personality to it than some of the other races you mentioned.
It honestly looked like it was in an oasis. You see, like, back in the old cartoons you used to watch, and the character gets stuck in the desert and they'd come across the oasis with the palm trees and the water. That, looking at the swim study, I was like, fucking looks like an oasis. Like, it actually looks like something out of one of those things. So it looked, like I said, very, very pretty. And I know that they take such good care of the pros. Belinda makes sure of it. So yeah, that was it. Well done to all of the winners. And we'll be waiting to see what happens again with that event next year. Should we move our attention to New Zealand, bro?
Yeah. So we had Hayden Wilde came fourth and missing out on a podium spot by just 4 seconds at New Zealand's Elite Road National Championships. He came fourth behind Ben Oliver. So the winner was Finn Fisher Black, who stopped the clock in 52 minutes 24 seconds. Second was Glenn Hayden, who was stopped the clock at 1:11. And then third was Ben Oliver, who stopped the clock in 2:02 with Hayden Wilde in 2:06.
I think they're the gaps. They're the gaps to the winner. Not the
Oh,
time.
yeah, sorry, yeah.
That's okay.
I've totally misread that, haven't I?
That's what I'm here for, mate.
52
I'm
minutes,
here to back you
24
up.
seconds. And then Glenn Hayden was 1:11 back. Ben Oliver was 2:02 back. And Hayden Wilde was 2:06 back. I was on autopilot then, just reading. And yes, so 4 seconds off a podium finish. And he's been flooded with offers from the World Tour.
That was the part of this when I saw that, and I'm like, oh, okay, like that sounds like, Jesus, Hayden, well done, read on. And then it's just like a throwaway comment. Oh yeah, I've been offered so many offers. Like, I mean, you know that I am the biggest cycling fan in the world, and you are a close second, unfortunately. But I've also been offered, like, you know, in fact, I've got this uncle who works for Nintendo, and he's going to get me the new Switch 3. He's in Japan. You've not met him. I'm going to get the first copy of that when it comes out. My uncle in Japan who works for Nintendo.
Cool. Yeah. No.
Do you think he's been offered a lot of World Tour contracts?
Hayden Wilde is a very strong cyclist, and he's quoted as saying, "I was thinking to go to pro cycling if I wasn't able to swim again after my crash. Even before the crash, I was offered potentially a few contracts with some pro teams, and just to have a sabbatical off try and have a few years in the peloton, I thought it would be quite fun." I think training camps with World Tour teams maybe, and an offer of maybe a trial to see, you know, maybe we'll see what you got. I can't imagine. I mean, I might be wrong. I don't want to misspeak, but potentially a few contracts with some pro teams. I can't imagine them just banding contracts around like that.
Makes me think of Christian. Was it this time a year ago, or maybe two? I can't remember the timeline, but remember Christian was talking about potentially going to. And I know that we discussed a lot because, again, I think it's the same thing. It's a very different skill set. Yes, Hayden is a very strong cyclist for triathlon, as we've just seen, fourth at the national TT. But yeah, look, I think you're on the money there. I could see there being similar to what we saw with Georgia Taylor Brown and Mike Kingma last year, right? Where they were offered they were offered the opportunity to go and do some training with them, and then Maya got a contract. Georgia decided either not to or wasn't offered one.
Maya got a contract, had a strong year. I mean, there's she didn't have the year that she wanted to have. I mean, her crash in Giro didn't help, but she had a strong showing, and she's certainly someone who could perform there. And I've actually got one of her race jerseys that's signed for me and sent for me, hanging upstairs, which I'm very proud of. It's next to Greg LeMond's jersey, that one.
That's really cool. I love Maya.
I do as well. I'm a big fan. Yeah, I could, like you said, like I said, maybe go for some training camps, maybe some trials, see how he's going. But riding in a peloton is such a different skill set to riding as a triathlete. I mean, I know that he's used to short course racing, he's used to riding in packs, but even that is not 5-6 hours in a peloton with the different skill set demands that comes with. I'm not saying he couldn't do it. I'm just saying I can't imagine there were contracts being offered. I mean, it's like it happens to all of them, though, doesn't it? Wasn't it Brownlee said he was going to go and win the Tour de France, didn't he?
So did Christian. So like that's what I mean, right? It's like I love to hear them talk about it, but like you again, I definitely know this, but again, I just want to give you the opportunity, obviously, to shine. Is Maya the only triathlete that's, oh, well, obviously no Cam Worth, but like, you know, remove Cam because he's this weird aberration. Is Maya the only triathlete?
I can't bring to mind anybody who's gone that way. There are a few a few pro cyclists who've come to triathlon post-career. Yeah. That's fairly common. Can I think of anybody that's gone the other way? I mean,
I'm testing you because I know the answer.
Armstrong.
I know the answer.
Okay.
So I know the answer, obviously. So I'm just testing you.
Lance Armstrong would be the biggest name.
That was very early. That was very early in
fucking
his
ages ago. Yeah,
but I mean, even in his career,
pro triathlete to pro cyclist. Who else? I mean, yeah, people from ages ago. Like, what's the one from down your way?
Richie Port.
Richie Port was a triathlete.
World's biggest cycling fan. Ask me anything. Fuck.
Yeah.
Like, how did I get that? I was so nervous ending. Jesus. Don't ask me questions. I mean, obviously I know. But...
Yeah. Richie Port was a triathlete before he was a cyclist, but I can't think of anybody in more modern era who's gone that way.
Yeah.
I think it's a difficult step to take.
The other thing that oh God, I can already hear that. But the other thing I love about this, right, is like we look at this and everyone's like, Jesus Christ, Hayden Wilde, 4th place, exceptional. But then you look at what the females are doing, and you've got, you know, Taylor Knibb, not just like, you know, going to the Olympics. I think has she ever won a national TT? I don't think so, but she's up there. Paula Findlay, national TT champion. Like we have so many female pros doing incredible stuff in cycling. As we said, Mai Kingma, racing, Georgia Tabaran potentially racing. Like, I just think it's so, yeah, like it I guess it shows, I think the female pros really punch above their weight in a lot of ways when it comes to that.
I love to see it. I haven't watched a cycling race for ages. The Patreon member who used to give me access to their Discovery Plus channel has since cancelled their subscription. So if anybody else out there has got a Discovery Plus subscription they want to send my way, do feel free.
Mate, you should put the Patreon money towards it. That should be a little your little treat to yourself. Yeah. That's what. Yeah. So there you go, guys. If you want a reason to support us, just let James watch the cycling races. Like, that's what it is, right? It's just a couple of coins in his the coffers to help cover his subscription to
keeps the heating on
Discovery Plus. But yeah, look, I think there's absolute no doubt, and Hayden is one of the strongest cyclists in the sport, if not the. But I do think that, yeah, a couple of contracts being thrown his way is probably a bit of hyperbole for an interview.
But he also confirmed that after LA that would be his final short course endeavor.
So he's focused on the Olympics.
That's what the quote says. After LA, I'm done.
Wow. Okay. Well, there you go. Confirm. I mean, I think we sort of suspected. I think it's a mistake. I don't think Hayden's going to win LA at this point. But again, probably similar to what Gustav. I respect it because it's clearly what he cares about, and I love athletes pursuing what inspires them, right? And I think we also seen the last year athletes can do a bit of both. Maybe a bit more because there's so many WTCS races this year, right? And to be honest, the Olympic points don't start till June either. So if you want to focus a little bit at the start of the year on longer stuff, maybe. But yeah, good start to the year for Hayden Wilde. Yeah, cool. What's next, mate?
How about we have a chat about Jelle Geens?
Jelle Geens. Let's talk about Jelle Geens. What do we want to talk about Jelle Geens for, mate?
He says the goal for 2026 is simple, Kona. So he's going to be doing his first Ironman in 2026 and going to Kona to try and win the thing.
As you do. Pretty easy, I think. Should be pretty straightforward for him.
The direct quote says, the goal for 2026 is simple, Kona, qualify and try to win. I've done triathlon for a long time. I'm 32 now and felt this was the year to try and go for Kona for the first time. Obviously, my big goal going into long distance is winning it, but I know that I might need a few attempts to really nail it. It would be great if I can win it on my first try, but I'm also realistic in knowing it's a special distance. I'm now at an age where I shouldn't wait any longer. So Kona's the big goal for this year. Onwards.
If you had to say Jelle Geens reminds you of another athlete, who would that other athlete be? He's thinking
Physically or in terms of the
yeah,
way they
physically.
race?
Physically. Like to look
Daniel
at.
Beckergaard.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking Gustav Iden.
Oh, interesting. All right, cool. Similar
And
physique.
yeah, and I was thinking that because Gustav Iden won Kona on debut with a very well-rounded swim bike run. And Jelle Geens to me is a very well-rounded swim bike runner. There's some weird shit happen on the screen behind you.
It's the
But the bird. I actually think that if you had to, like, what I think you need to do to be able to win Kona is front pack swimmer, stay towards the front of the bike, don't have a huge gap, probably to an athlete like Sam Laidlaw or Jonas Schomburg, and then be able to run really, really well in the heat. And I think Jelle Geens is an athlete who could do that because he is what you'd expect from an athlete like that sort of short course is probably a bit of a weakness on the bike. But we have seen, yes, Hayden put some time into him in races, and yes, others have put some time into him at races. But he's always within striking distance. And a marathon off the bike is a very different, especially in Hawaii, is a very different endeavor to a short course race or whatever. So I actually think that this is a possibility. Has he said where his first Ironman is going to be? Because I would assume it's going to be quite early in the year.
Let's have a look. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I know that last week, I said that Christian's never going to win Kona. He hasn't been in touch, by the way.
Downvoted. I noticed he downvoted the video on YouTube. He gave it a thumbs down. But
I can see this happening. I could see someone like Jelle Geens going to Kona. He's got that light frame, like you say. He's got that ability to be at the front of the swim, have a solid bike, and then run really well in the heat. Kona's its own beast, it's its own monster. So what happens to people there will happen to their bodies, will respond in different ways. There's no guarantees. But let's say out of Christian and Jelle, if I had to look at those two athletes and decide which one could possibly win Kona on debut, we know it's not Christian, but I'm talking if they were both doing it at the same time, my money would be on Jelle Geens.
I see a scenario where that is the reality.
Before. I've never run a marathon. I think I've only ever done a 180-kilometer ride, and that was on a gravel trip with Martin Van Riel. So lots of new things to come for me. It's exciting, but it's definitely also scary. I did Olympic distance for a long time. I'm back-to-back 70.3 world champion now, so I feel like it's the right time to step up and try and give Ironman a go. If you'd asked me 5 years ago, I'd have said I would never do an Ironman, but it's sort of grown on me each year, and it's a great challenge.
So that would say then that he's probably not going to do. Okay, so if he's not even training, I mean, again, what they say and what they're doing are two very, very different things. But maybe you're going to see middle of the year, June, maybe something in Germany, maybe something in Europe.
His debut is in Ironman Texas on April 18th.
Oh, he has confirmed it. Okay, fuck.
Yeah.
That race is going to be fire.
So he makes an interesting point here. He said he feels like 10 years ago it was more about survival, whereas nowadays you're racing every other competitor rather than just being in a race against yourself, and that's what excites him.
But it's so true, and I think there's the two biggest factors of that are the increased understanding and technology around nutrition, the fact that athletes are actually not just taking one or two gels and surviving, they're actually fueling really properly and able to attack the whole time. It's the shoes, and it's not the carbon, it's the foam.
It's the foamy stuff.
It's the foamy stuff because, like, again, you know, we don't see those blow-ups anymore, and it's because there's just not as much fatigue on the legs with that foam now, so that you don't have everybody literally just gritting their teeth. I mean, they are. But yeah, it is a full race the whole way. And you're talking about that scenario between Christian and Jelle. I think that's probably what we will see. The big question mark for me this year over Kona is the new 20-meter draft, because it's definitely going to lend athletes like Sam Laidlaw a huge advantage. Jonas Schomburg, I'm assuming Jonas will be in Kona this year, a huge advantage. Jamie Riddle, a huge advantage. But I actually like, we saw what Patrick Langer did last time the men were in Kona, and I expect, no offense to Patrick Lang, but I think Jelle Geens is probably a better runner. And yeah, I think having him and Christian, just imagine if we see him and Christian do what they did in Marbella, but over 42K with Gustav there, with Casper there, with
amazing. Yeah. He said his season's going to be split into two parts, which is the first part qualifying for Kona. The second part is the Kona Nice double. He said he's going to start his season at 70.3 Geelong,
Yep.
which is the same distance between that race and Texas as the 70.3 Worlds has between Kona. So he's testing that double with Geelong and Texas, and then hopefully qualifying there, and then he'll roll into the 70.3 Worlds Kona double later in the year.
It's a good plan.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, so do I. I love, again, I've been quite vocal about the short course guys stepping up, so I always like when they do well. But like Jelle Geens was an athlete that I always sort of paid attention to at short course and rated him. But man, like just seeing what he's done, he's become a real force, and I love that he's going to do Ironman. It's again, people in our Talking Cricket group will know I love Test match cricket. I'm a real purist for the long game, and I've increasingly become that with pro triathlon. I love, like, to me, Ironman is the thing that I actually really do. It's the purest form of triathlon to me in a way, and like that's the thing I'm most interested in these days, just because there's so much happening in middle distance, and I find that Ironman is Ironman. Like there's, you know what I mean? You don't have like, oh, it's Ironman, but it's slightly different or whatever. So yeah, Kona's going to be great this year.
Off the back of our conversation last week about the 20-meter drafting rule,
Yep.
I had a massive change of heart in the week.
Tell me, explain it to me.
I don't want the 20-meter draft rule.
Neither do I.
I want the 12-meter draft rule.
So do I.
Because I understand that understanding about technology and understanding about aerodynamics has got deeper, and we know that the draft's there. I feel like it's an attempt to keep the sport boring. Not boring. It's an attempt to level the playing field rather than increase the depth of the field and the quality of the athlete. If you need to make the draft zone longer so that people who aren't as good as swimmers have a chance in the race, I think that's counterintuitive to making triathlon better. I think you keep the draft as it is, and you say, well, if you're not a good enough swimmer, you're not a good enough triathlete. Bad luck.
I look at every other pro, and I don't know if I said this, but you look at every other pro sport, and they are all trying to innovate to make their sports more exciting. You've got 2020 cricket. Even Supertri to accept it. Everything seems to be about making things more dynamic, more exciting, more competitive. And then you've got triathlon going, no, let's make it more. Again, I understand the fairness, and this is not about the fairness. And I'm not talking as a participant.
I'm not even sure it's fair. I think it just changes it. I think it makes it so that it's trying to level the playing field, where you don't level the playing field. You make people step up. You increase the need to be the best, and dial that up until eventually everyone's rising. Yeah, that's the way I had a bit of a change of heart in the week.
Again, what I see, if the true goal is individual performance, then do individual time trials. Start everybody, like in a time trial event, start everybody individually, and then it's the same draft rules as in a TT. You've got to pass, blah, blah, blah. Do that. Like it's this weird thing where we have this, they start together and it's kind of a race between each other, but it's expected to be a purely independent thing. You can still draft in the swim. That's okay. You can't, in fact, we're going to make it even harder to ride together on a bike. And then on the run, you can work together. Anyway, look, I understand a lot of amateurs love it. And again, if you're a Lionel fan, I'm Joe Skipper's manager. I should be all on board with this. But I actually really think this is like the final nail in the coffin of broadcast triathlon. I really just think that as a participant, I think it is good in terms of, will it make whatever? But as a fan of watching the sport, I think this is not great. And I think we'll see that. I think at the end of this year, we'll see a lot of more people saying the racing was boring. Again, in 12 months' time, I'm probably wrong. I don't know. But at this point, I just think, or have both, have some options. Give athletes the options, the 12 meters and the 20, and see who wants to go to which. Because I agree with you. I think it's the exact wrong approach. Instead of progressing, and it's a step backwards to
regression.
me.
It's like, it's getting a bit difficult for those people that aren't as good as swimmers, so we'll make it so that everyone's still together. No. And I think we need to be, then with the sport, it needs to be cutthroat. And
look, the other thing as well, I saw a lot of people said this is thanks to the guys at Pro Tri News. Like, and well done for a podcast being able to have sort of, impact. But like Lionel Sanders is Talbot's guy, Taylor Nibb, Magnus, Kat, they work with Pat. Like, it's not like we've got a truly objective sort of measure. And I just think it's like, again, I think objectively, if you look at this, I don't think it's only pro. And that's a stupid thing. It doesn't apply to amateur. This is where the great sort of contradiction for me exists, where I can understand if they're not going to, because it makes it harder to have as many athletes on the field. Because I just the thing that I keep the thing I can't get past, and I'm not talking about the pro now, but I'm talking about the sport itself, is you look at marathon running. And marathon running is not a sport that is particularly broadcastable. Like, you don't have a lot of people sitting down and watch a marathon, right? It's 2 hours of people running, and there's not really much dynamics. They just kind of run next to each other, and a person might attack. It's not great broadcasting. But fuck me, those marathon runners make bank. Like, we tried to sponsor, we tried to do a deal with Safan Hassan last year. And again, I won't give the exact numbers, but we had a gold medalist track and field athlete and gold medalist marathon runner. The gold medalist track was tens of thousands, and like multiple tens of thousands, and the marathoner was hundreds of thousands. That's because so many people participate. Like, not only is it a participation-based sport, very similar to triathlon, it's just the fields are so big, so that the actual influence those athletes have over the field is significant. Triathlon fields are 2,000 to 3,000 people, so even if you're successful, your influence is very limited. That's the big sort that, like, I truly think if triathlon, I'm giving up on broadcast is not going to, that's not where the sport's going to make money. They now need to work out how to grow the field sizes to try to make the actual influence bigger. And you can't just add more races. So I don't know I do know what they need to do, but let's not make a 20-minute draft zone. Don't come at me.
Anyway, I thought I'd drop that in there.
Yeah, I like it. I fully agree. I fully agree. We've gone off a mass. Again, let's have a draft legal, like long distance race. It doesn't have to be. I'm not replace a brand new, different. I'd love to see it, even just as an exhibition. Somebody put it on. Somebody out there who's got some cash in the bank. Let's do it. Let's just see T100 PTO. You listen. I know you guys do. Let's try it. Let's just see if it works. You want to grow your field sizes. Non-draft is how you're really going to get to those big numbers. So
I'll run it for him.
We'll do it. Fuck it. We'll do it.
Need to fund it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. We'll do it live.
Fuck it. We'll do it live. I wish it's one of those times I'm like, fuck, I wish I knew a billionaire.
Yeah. Well, not right now. Not right now. I don't want to go near billionaires right now, mate.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't want to go.
Not in those files.
Yeah, I'm not on those files at all. Yeah.
Talking about swimmers who are struggling to be in triathlons anymore, so they're having to make the draft. Instead of making that draft longer, you know what their swimmers should do?
Tell me that. What?
They should get themselves a faster wetsuit.
They should. James, we are excited this week because we have a sponsor. We have...
We do. You dropped it in at the start of the pod, and we're very excited to introduce Hoob as the sponsor of the podcast this week and for a number of weeks to follow. And it's a company that's been known for 15 years of pushing the limits of triathlon performance. Named after Professor Hoob Toisson, one of the world's leading experts in human movement through water, his expertise in hydrodynamics, friction, and drag, combined with founder Dean Jackson's relentless innovation, drives the development of suits designed to make athletes faster. On the aerodynamic side, Hoob collaborates with Wattshop, founded by Dan Bingham, the hour record holder and elite aero specialist. That partnership brings world-class engineering to their tri-suits, introducing their pioneering dual-speed suit design, something competitors are only now trying to copy. Hoob even owns its own advanced drag testing equipment, technology that allows them to validate every performance claim through hard science. And we are delighted to work with a company so committed to making athletes faster. And as a listener, you can take advantage of that innovation with 10% off using the code TalkingTriathlon10 with a capital T. The code will be in the show notes. So if performance matters to you, Hoob is the brand to trust. What do you think of Hoob, mate?
Hoob is the first brand I knew of in triathlon. Like, it was the first triathlon brand. And
yeah, same. Well,
Firstly,
Orca back in the day, but yeah.
I didn't know Orca. I'm obviously a bit younger than you, much younger than you. But yeah, look, I think there's so much I could say positive about Hoob. I think Dean Jackson is truly one of the good guys in the sport. I have seen, I still always think back to when we did sub 7, sub 8 and watching that team roll in. That was originally Ali's team that stepped in for Joe, and just being like, what the fuck are these? Like, these guys are cooking on a different level. Genuinely, I think they are a triathlon brand that is not just like everything they do is about making athletes faster. And yeah, it's genuinely like it's not some faceless corporation. It's not some, it is a local company based out of Derby in the UK, just doing good stuff. So I love him.
Yeah, Dean's a great bloke, and he's got a love for the sport, which I really appreciate, because you get in touch with Hoob, it's more likely than not you'll end up speaking directly to him, because he's the guy that drives it. He's the founder. He pioneered some of that technology, and it's his ideas that keep the company moving forward. And they're a great bunch, and the stuff they produce is excellent. And on next week's show, we'll be making an announcement on their behalf of a special deal that's yet to come.
Yeah, good. Their stuff's really fast. They're a really good company. So get on board. The show notes, both podcast and YouTube, you can find that link. Support us, supporting them. Everybody needs fast gear. So who doesn't mind a little tasty discount? Back to the show, James.
There we go. What next, old boy?
Supertri. Let's do it. I'm fucking chomping at the bit to get into Supertri. Supertri, mate, because my love has let me down. I'm having a relationship problems with Supertri, and I need to air my dirty laundry publicly on a podcast.
Supertri revealed a new calendar of combined events culminating in a new Supertri Pro Series final, which will have $800,000 of prize money up for grabs in a single day for the world's best triathlete. That tops every other race day on the triathlon calendar, with Ironman World Championships in Kona currently the biggest one, off payday of $750,000, split equally between men and women. So what have you got to moan about, mate? Look how much money they're putting in. It's an injection.
Yeah, and Supertri's gone, mate. Our favourite race series is no more. There's no longer Jersey and London and Toulouse, and I mean Neom sucked, but like it's gone. They have finally decided, as I have said, that the broadcast ain't where it's at. They're fully committed to mass participation events. And now they're only going to put on one true Supertri Pro race, again, at a location that they haven't announced. Fucking triathlon, just goddamn confirm your fucking events before you announce it. I'm so sick of this. But they've got their, Austin, Blenheim or something in the UK. And
Seaton Supertri Austin on May 25th. Supertri Blenheim Palace in the UK in June the 6th. Supertri Toronto Canada in July 26th. And then the date and location of the Supertri Pro Series final will be announced soon.
But it's just a pro field at their mass participation events. So I think their sprint distance, or like it's not a Supertri race. And there's no more teams, so we're not going to have the I just think this is such. I mean, this to me, I said earlier, I've just fully accepted that broadcast is dead in triathlon. This was why. This is okay, I'm waving the white flag and saying the thing that I've always thought was possible is impossible, because Supertri has, if you look at the journey Supertri has taken since it started, 10 years ago? Almost exactly 10 years ago, from we are a fully pro-focused series. There is no mass participation. We are making triathlon for broadcast. We're going to add some corporate events. We're lowering our budgets. We're adding some mass participation events. We're getting rid of pro races. We're just mass participation. It really is so sad to see the slow demise of what I thought was one of the truly great race properties in the sport. And to be honest, it's not that I get it.
Unique as well.
Yeah, I get it, right? Like, if you're not making money, we can't expect these brands to continue to do all this stuff if they're not making bank. And they're clearly not making bank, and that's why they've pivoted so hard to go fully in on mass participation. Goes back to what I was saying before. We need to work out a way to grow the field size, as if that's the only way that we're going to see money in the sport. I'm just really disappointed, mate, because I love Supertri. Like, I really have always enjoyed watching Supertri racing, and the fact that we're only going to see one of them, and I mean, they talk about how you need to be.
It does say here that in 2026, professional athletes will join amateurs in racing at the following Supertri events: Austin, Blenheim Palace, Canada, and then the grand final. So 4. Are they only broadcasting the final?
I don't know about that, but what I mean is those races aren't Supertri events. Like, it's not like they're going to do a Supertri race at Blenheim or whatever. They're not going to do a Supertri race in Austin. That's the Austin race. Is my understanding is that the Austin race.
Oh, okay.
It's just a pro field.
So are we completely losing that format, the Supertri format of swim back run, swim back run, swim back run, or
only the grand final? I think only the grand final is that format, I believe.
Interesting. Okay. Well, their press release says the expansion will increase participation in triathlon whilst ensuring Supertri has a robust and resilient commercial structure in place and a platform for sustainable growth. By bringing elites and amateurs closer together, Supertri aims to inspire the competitor in everyone. All Supertri Pro Series events will pay 10 deep to encourage development in the sport, with the winners of the Supertri Pro Series final scooping £100,000 for their day's work.
Is it pounds?
Dollars, yeah, sorry. Yeah. Yes. I mean, there's a chance that they are just taking a step back, using this to lay a foundation that gives them a model that works, and then they start injecting more Supertri broadcast races back in.
I don't think so.
No, I
don't think so.
But I'm just advocating that one a little
But the
bit.
other thing with those races, those 3 races that they have, the first place is $5,000. Like, it's not even anything. I look. I think you're gonna have a whole bunch of sort of okay athletes do them, get like wild cards, and then they're gonna have the regular faces of that last name. Some. It depends on the dates, and I'm assuming that's what they were trying to work out. But no, I really do think this is they're doing this because they weren't able to make money through the pro. Why would you? Again, I understand how difficult it was to get the pros to race last year. Trust me, I know how hard it was. I get it, and this is what we see. It's that thing of the lack of pro buy-in, which we saw at T100 as well, and the fact that they're not making money. There's no money being added to Supertri from the pros. So why would they? I get it. This is what I mean. The only way the sport is making money is through mass participation now, and this is the biggest confirmation of it to me. Is if Supertri is doing it, a race series truly started to be all about the pros. More so, I even think than PTO's series, because, anyway, it is just so upsetting to me watching where it started to where it's at. But I get it. I'm not here going fuck Supertri. I understand why they're doing it, and it's just the unfortunate state of the sport. Yeah, I'm really disappointed by this. Genuinely, people can probably tell. I'm very upset about this.
So professional athletes will race a draft legal sprint distance format in Austin, Blenheim, and Toronto. And then the Supertri Pro Series final will be raced over a Supertri format and delivered as a full live broadcast, providing a premium, blah, 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 blah. Athletes racing Supertri Pro Series events will have the opportunity to qualify for the Supertri Pro Series final, with 3 women and 3 men qualifying each race. The Supertri Pro Series final will see the qualifiers join Supertri's all-star central athlete roster in competing for an 800 grand prize pool. All athletes will compete as individuals rather than teams, so no teams, qualifying events, 1 broadcast live event. The qualifying events, they say, will be a digital first distribution approach to maximize reach and engagement, as in to save money.
It's all spin. Everything I read there is just gobbledygook. It's, again, everything I've said, I don't need to keep, I am just, this is where we're at.
Yeah,
mate.
it's a shame, because I do love watching those Supertri events. I really do. It is a shame, but that's the direction they're going, and we'll have to see how it goes. I just hope it doesn't fizzle out and become a sprint distance participation series with no broadcast at the end of it.
That's what is going to happen. What I really feel bad for, I worked with Crown Race in Supertri last year. We're not that invested, but I look at some of the other things like podium racing, right? They fully bought in. They were fully on board with this, and then they've just sort of had the carpet pulled out from under them. What are they like? They're a short course pro team. That's what they're trying to build. But there's no short course pro series anymore. You've got short course athletes back to WTCS or T50, whatever it's called now, racing for the federations. It's a similar issue that Bahrain Victorious has, where you're just going to put a logo on the short course kit that we know commercially makes absolutely, there's no media impact because the logos are so small and the restrictions are so strict. Yeah, like honestly, it's just, yeah, I don't even have word. This whole year, everything I'm seeing, with the exception of the Ironman Pro Series, is just a big step backwards. T100 losing the contracts, again, going all in on the mass participation. Now we're seeing everything indicates to me that this is.
At least don't have animals anymore.
That's true. There's no more cheetahs or scorpions.
No cheetahs
they didn't have them last year, though, did they?
Or whatever. I don't fucking know. Yeah, no, they didn't. I don't think they did. No. I am going to be seeing Michael Dulst very soon, so I will quiz him on this.
Yeah, please.
And ask him what the expectation.
It's just going to be corporate gobbledygook. That's all we get from all those guys, right? Literally understand. And I'm not obviously going to share everything I know, but knowing what I know and then hearing that press release, you get so good at detecting the corporate bullshit, like for example, they highlight the prize purse at the final one, but then they don't talk about the lower prize money at the other. Like everything about it is just spin. Just spin.
Think of it at the start. You're right, and it doesn't take much detecting, because of course that's the objective of their organization, is to polish whatever's coming out and make it seem like the best move ever. And if that's their PR department's job, and I don't blame them for that. I also don't blame them for making this choice. If you're running a business and your business model isn't making the kind of money you need it to make, if it's not bringing you a return, but there's an option, there's a way, a path where you can, then that's the path that you're going to take. There isn't an obligation from these companies to service the fan base with a number of broadcasts each year. It's their modus operandi is to survive and make money. I'd rather see them do this than see them close down.
But it's also just, to me, a fundamental problem with the sport is that it is now so expensive to participate. Like, what I always find the great contradiction, and this doesn't apply to everybody, but I know that a lot of our listeners are probably going to say, yeah, this feels like me, right? Is we all spend so much goddamn money doing the sport on $20,000 bikes and $600 shoes and $500 helmets and $12,000 $1,200 wetsuits, that you then don't have cash to spend on, people don't subscribe to Triathlon Live because they don't have the cash, or like, you get it, right? I feel like it's one of the reasons I've stopped doing it is I just felt like I was getting bled dry, like $700 to enter a race. You feel like you're getting bled dry.
A friend of mine asked me if I fancy doing Ironman Barcelona with them, and I didn't, but I had a look online just out of interest. €900.
Fucking hell, mate.
The race. And I'm like, no, because that's €900 plus the travel, plus the accommodation, plus the food while I'm there. You're looking at multiple thousands of pounds before that trip. And you're right, bikes are so expensive. The ecosystem is so expensive that they're not selling enough. So therefore the return's not there, because bikes are so bloody expensive now that, those that are buying them, but not many people are buying them because it's not. I've said this to many people many times. I said it to T100 recently when they asked me for some advice on something. I reckon the bike industry is the quickest and easiest way to check the health of the sport through the capitalism that exists around it. And right now, it's not looking healthy.
Well, we saw both Canyon and Trek come out this week, articles that both Trek and Canyon are both, like, Canyon's about to cut 25% of their, 20%, don't quote me, a large percentage of their workforce is being cut. Trek apparently struggling. And it's like, I'm not surprised, right? I honestly remember the pandemic, right? Going to my local, like, this is a bubble. This is clearly a bubble. And it's just, no, it's not. And here we are going, it was a bubble. Like,
yeah, it was a bubble. And the industry didn't recognize that bubble well enough. I don't know. I do not know. But we're now in a position where, like, if you've got a lot of money, you can get a very nice bike. But what you can't do is, if you've got a bit of money, you can't really get an all right bike.
Well, this is
it's either really expensive or very basic entry level. I don't see that mid range.
Well, I think about brands
like Canyon do it quite well, but even theirs are getting quite expensive.
Mate, their bikes are just as expensive as the other brands now. Like but I still think about my journey.
I mean, they do the range. They do the range. Some better than some bike companies do.
What got me in was I went into a bike store and I had a budget in mind, and I knew nothing about bikes, but I knew that carbon fiber bikes were fancy. Like, Jesus Christ, the best people have carbon fiber bikes. I went into this bike store. They said, "What's your budget?" I said, "I don't know, about $2,000," which to me was, this is what, 15 years ago. It was a lot of money. And they said, "Yeah, for that we can get you carbon fiber." I was like, Jesus Christ, oh fuck yeah, I'll get that. Like, and in my head, I'm like, I've got a bargain here. How good is this? Got this carbon fiber giant TCR. Loved that bike. Loved it. Eventually upgraded all the components. It came with like 105. I upgraded it to Dura Ace. Upgraded the handlebars. Like, pieced together this. It was my absolute baby. But I genuinely think and that's why I then fully committed and was all in and got a TT bike and blah 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 blah. You go in a shop now, it's like entry level bikes at $8,000. Like, who's gonna do that?
I know. When I bought my first road bike of the modern era, that wasn't my first carbon fiber bike, was a Trek Madone in 2008-9, and it cost me £1,600.
Yeah,
and
good luck.
That won't happen. You spend £1,600 now, you ain't getting a carbon fiber frame. You might get some carbon fiber forks if you're lucky, you're very unlikely to get electronic shifting.
We're obviously going around in circles, but I think the point is that and this is why, again, I'm going on about this so much, and this links to everything, right? This is the same with the 20-minute draft. It's the whole thing. The sport really needs to actually look at themselves and go, what are we doing here? Because I feel like there's this, everything here is, participation levels are up and it's booming, and there's so many. I sit down with people sometimes and they talk about how great it is, and I'm like, am I not looking at the same thing that you guys are? Like, I just don't see. I'm not optimistic about it, which people say we're so pessimistic, but I don't know. I love this sport. I want this sport to absolutely boom. And I just see a series of choices that seem to be going the opposite of that. So, but yeah, the bike industry, mate, Jesus Christ. Anyway.
It's just not a sustainable model, selling bikes that expensive without an entry ladder. Because once you've got your really expensive bike, that's it. You ain't buying another one, really. Most people, it's a once every 10 years purchase for a bike of that level, if that.
But it also gets to the point, though, for triathletes, that because the majority of mass participation events are now non-draft, you can't be buying two $20,000 bikes. So then people are buying one bike. The number of cyclists I know that have one bike, which is a time trial bike, and it's like, I get why you've done that because of the cost and you want to do triathlon. But you don't go for many lovely rides on a TT bike. Like, it's not the bike.
No, you don't.
So therefore, you're not having.
Certainly not where I live. You don't. Yeah, Christ.
Mate, I took that TT bike to Nice with me and just hated it the whole time.
Yeah, I bet you did. Yeah.
Like, I wasn't having many scenic rides on that fucking thing, trying to lug it up those hills all the time. I just think that you understand, and something has to give. And I feel like the whole, not just that, but you then go to an event and then all the accommodation's been bought out, and you have to go through an Ironman owned system or a travel partner of Ironman, and you pay above average, you pay above room rates what you could have got directly, but because they knew about it in advance and they've gone and booked all the rooms, you then paying even extra. Like, it's just about being milked at every opportunity, and then you go, no wonder people aren't subscribing. No wonder people, because they're just bled dry. And anyway, rant over. Rant over. Sorry, everybody. I know we're negative. People get to shits with us and leave us comments about how pessimistic we are, but we love the sport. We want it to be successful, and it doesn't seem like it is at the moment. So,
no.
On that note, should we wrap it up?
Let's do it.
Where do people find out more about us, mate?
If you want to support the show, jump on at patreon.com/Talking Triathlon. If you want to follow Tim, he's at T414 on Instagram, and I'm at bale.james85 on Instagram. We are also on Instagram at Talking Triathlon. If you join the Patreon group, you'll get access to the monthly bonus episodes. We'll put you in the social group and the WhatsApp group. The WhatsApp group keeps me sane at times. And if you're not a member of the Patreon group, though, the best way to get hold of us is to leave a comment on the YouTube channel.
Now, a few things, mate. What's happening with your raffle?
Raffle incoming.
Okay.
In fact, I got a delivery from Hoob just yesterday. Another raffle prize. I've got a list of raffle prizes now. The guy, remember the guy that gave me the hotel stay at the Edgbaston Hotel in Birmingham? He's given me a stay for a winner, 1 night for two, dinner for two, breakfast for two at the Edgbaston Sports Hotel. So that's a nice prize.
It's all happening.
So yeah, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming soon. I'm working through the intricacies of how to actually run a raffle without falling foul of the UK's lottery laws.
If you want me to do it here because there are a lot of rule laws or a lot more, no, that's not true. I'm also got my fundraiser for the Melbourne Marathon that I'm running in October. My link is in the show notes. Please, if you can, chuck a couple of bucks for a great cause. I'm doing it for Beyond Blue, a mental health charity in Australia that provides resources for people that are struggling with mental health. Something that has become very important to me as my mental health was and continues to be a work in progress. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. All that stuff will be in the show notes. The Hoob code, please also, if you're looking to buy a new wetsuit or something, that's a good way to get a sneaky little discount. Big announcement coming next week as well. But James Bale, a pleasure as always. Guys, thank you for listening. I'll talk to you next week, Jimbo.
Cheerio.